Hello and welcome to ET690, the Educational Technology Seminar. Let's talk about ideas. First, I want to tell you about the essential questions for this course. We're going to talk about what is the purpose of school, and we're going to think about how does technology serve school and society. And this will include discussions about equity, the digital divide, and the second level digital divide, because this is a course about ideas, and so these are big questions, and there are no easy answers to these questions, so we're going to spend the entire semester reading books and talking about these ideas. So the first book we're going to read is The End of Education by Neil Postman, and we're going to discuss this book in weeks 2 and 3. And then everybody's going to write a paper about this book in week 5. Then we'll move to Reclaiming Conversation by Sherry Turkle, and we'll discuss that in weeks 5 to 7. And for this book, everybody's either going to lead 1 week of the discussion or write a paper that will be due in week 9. And then similarly with Geek Heresy by Kentaro Toyama, we're going to discuss this in weeks 9 to 11, and everybody will lead 1 week of the discussion or write a paper that's due in week 13. So for these last 2 books, everybody is going to lead part of the discussion and write 1 paper for whichever book they didn't lead part of the discussion. Then interspersed throughout the semester, we'll read bits and pieces of Creating Innovators by Tony Wagner. And this will be discussed in weeks 4, 8, and 12. And there is no paper for this book. So this class is mainly about discussions. We're going to sit around and talk about ideas. But we're virtual, so we're not going to sit around a table and talk about ideas. Instead, we're going to meet synchronously sometimes, a little less than half the class. We'll do that via Zoom. And we'll meet asynchronously, having discussions in discussion forums and other tools that Moodle allows us to have those discussions in. And finally, at the end of the semester, you're either going to participate in a debate or write a final paper. The debate's more fun. Almost everybody does the debate, but you have the option of writing a final paper. And we'll have more details about the debate and the final paper as the semester goes along. So in terms of how you're graded for class participation is 30% of your grade. That's a big chunk because this class is mainly about thinking and talking about ideas. And so you'll be graded each week of the class on these 5 things. First of all, did you read the assignment? Did you read what you were supposed to read from the books and say something related to that? Did you take a stand? Did you use higher order thinking? Did you make quality comments? And did you participate enough? Notice that the participated enough is only 1 point out of 10. We don't emphasize that a lot. Most people say enough, but you have to actually say enough. Occasionally someone doesn't participate in class very much at all, and they won't get that point. But most people do just fine with that and all of these areas. So this is how you'll be graded for the class as a whole. As I said, class participation is 30% of your grade. The Postman paper will be 17.5% of your grade, and then you will write either a Turkle or a Toyama paper that will be 17.5% of your grade, and you will lead 1 discussion from either the Turkle book or the Toyama book, and that will be 17.5% of your grade. And finally, the last 17.5% comes from the debate or the final paper. So think about our essential questions and get ready to have a really good time thinking about ideas, talking about ideas, bringing your own experiences to these ideas, and not necessarily solving all the world's problems, but thinking about the problems of the world as they relate to technology.